Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and welcome back to the Winter Season Showdowns, to a very special day where, of course, to remind everyone, Damaga Grubby played, Damaga ended up winning, but Damaga, unable to make it to the Winter Championship event, informed us, so we're like, all right, what do we do? Let's have a bracket of the Europeans that lost and give someone a second chance. That's what's happening right now, so if we could take a look at that bracket one more time, the next match we're going to see is going to be Feast versus Snute. Snute is going to be the only Zerg player. Before we look at that, actually, we can look at that. Yeah, Snute versus Feast, that's going to be coming up. Of course, every one of these is a best of one. And, of course, the winner will play Mana. I have a lot to talk about this match, but before we get into the actual game, MLGProshop.com, guys, be sure to check it out. If you're looking for MLG apparel, they got Nike equipment as well. If a birthday's coming up, or your birthday's coming up, and you want your parents to get you something, check out MLGProshop.com. There's actually a lot of cool stuff there, and some pretty awesome discounts as well, bundle, gift packs, and whatnot. So check that website out and see if you like what you see, and then pull out a credit card and buy some stuff if you want to. Lots of awesome apparel there. That being said, shall we?
I think we shall. Snute versus Feast. They're going to have their best of one
Yes.
on Ohana. And, of course, the winner will advance up in that bracket to play Mana. The loser will be the second player eliminated from the 6-person fight-to-the-death arena.
So Snute played... Hold on. Wait for it. Snute played who? Oh my gosh, my mind is failing me. Who did Snute play?
My mind's failing me, too.
Okay, I know it wasn't a Zerg.
There's been so many WSS matches.
It was a European. We know that. It was a Protoss or a Terran. Hold on, it's coming to me. Millions of people in the chat are just shouting at us right now.
Why don't we talk about the game at hand? Snute versus Feast.
There's a lot of context that I want to talk about now. Yes, okay, so what I do remember is the game didn't go so well. It was a 3-0, in fact.
It was.
With Snute losing. That's what I do remember. But this was when IEM was still doing Wings of Liberty. And I think Snute was playing a lot of Wings of Liberty in preparation for that event. But since that point, IEM has decided they're going to do Heart of the Swarm. And I think Snute is... He is... Oh, yeah, he lost to Socke. Okay, yeah, he lost to Socke. I think he's been playing a lot. So I'm really excited to see what he pulls out here, because I think he would be a great representative out of the European side of things. Of course, he is your Blue Zerg player in the top left-hand location. Snute from Team Liquid. Can he make it all the way through this bracket and qualify for the Winter Championships? In the bottom right is the red Protoss player, Feast from Team Millennium. And he's one of those Protosses in the European scene that is very, very good. Opening up with a Forge there. And I'm not even going to ask if Feast lost year, so you probably know.
So...
Or do we? That's the question.
Oh, you're trading my memory here, man.
I am.
I'm
like giving you all these tests.
You're giving me all these tests, and there's too many matches, man. I
know.
have a hard time keeping track of them all.
You know, when I was...
European qualifiers, there was so many Protoss players.
Yeah.
As well. A lot of Protoss players. If I do remember correctly, I think Feast lost to a lot of Swarm hosts.
Ret.
That's right.
See?
It was Ret. I knew it was Swarm hosts, and I was trying to go through the Zergs, and I'm like, who uses a lot
Right when you said Swarm host, I'm like, Ret.
Because I remember he had a really hard time trying to get around him. There's a great map on Entomb Valley.
On this map, actually, too.
Yes, this map was more of just a Swarm host crushing across the map.
I remember it, like it was yesterday.
Beating him with a giant hammer.
Yeah, into the third base. Feast was like, oh no, what do I do? And he died to the Locusts.
So, you know what? Snute, similar to Ret, plays Zerg.
Yes.
Will he utilize the same strategy Ret did to defeat Feast earlier in this tournament?
He is so far. I mean, obviously, Ret, I think, in every single game, did not make a gas early. Went for the 3 hatcheries, went for a bunch of drones, and then later on, we saw him transition into those Swarm hosts. So perhaps, you know, obviously they're on the same team. Perhaps they exchanged some knowledge.
Ret gave him the secrets of how to beat Feast. It could be done. Of course, Feast is on the same team as Ghost User.
That's a fantastic
point.
And
Ghost User is one of the most active Zergs on the Grandmaster ladder right now in Heart of the Swarm, and he's very experienced. So Feast definitely has the options of an extremely powerful Zerg practice partner, similar to how Snute can conspire with the Ret. on all their strategies. Feast can conspire with Ghost User on how to deal with Zerg.
Of course, Ghost User will be playing Caliber in a bit, a little bit later on in the Winter Season Showdown, if you're looking for his play. But yeah, that's a great point. This should be a very interesting game. Of course, again, if you're just now joining us, this is a best of 1. We're playing out the last chance bracket. Exciting stuff going on here. So let's look at the openings here. We got a Mothership Core on the way here from Feast, 2 gases, natural expansion, Forge Fast Expand. No +1 weapons on the way just yet. Meanwhile, nothing but drones and queens and overlords from Snute. Am I disrespecting Zerglings on the field? No, I'm not. He has not made any Zerglings.
One thing I'm a little interested in is how fast Feast is getting that Mothership Core. Most Protosses from what I've seen, they like to get their tech, unless they're doing like some, gateway pressure with the core early, right? They like to get a tech building started, then a Mothership Core. Feast getting Mothership Core up slightly faster, about 15-20 seconds faster, neglecting the Robo or Stargate quite as early. And he's going to do a little bit of a poke with the 2 Stalkers, and there's the Stargate. So a little bit later of a Stargate, but he's going to have this poke out early. How much damage can it do? We can see Snute is already getting a Spine Core in each base. You know what I actually really like that Snute's doing? He's not building any Zerglings.
No.
I actually really like that, because the queens of the Spine Core, as long as he pulls some drones and then micros them. Oh, cancel! Cut that one a little bit close. He's got to pull drones, though, because he can't let that Zella hit his queen. Oh, wait, no, he's got 4 queens. I guess he can just...
Oh, one queen is about to get one queen's about to die, to be honest. Just drones are going to be pulled here. Snute's going to be okay with losing maybe 1 or 2 drones, but any more than that, it's no fun.
He actually lost 0.
Well, there you go. And he didn't lose that queen. It's at 13 HP.
Snute's micro is just insane here. And what's awesome is, like, so many Zerg players make, like, 14, 16 Zerglings.
During that.
Yeah, and that's like 7 to 8 drones, right?
And Snute's like, you know what? I don't need those.
Yeah, I mean, he did make the Spine Cores, which is something as well. But the nice thing about the Spine Cores is they don't take up food, which means you have to build extra Overlords, which means all your larvae can be gone towards drones. So sure, there's a little bit more mineral spent in Spine Cores. But what you do
and
is
they can help you as the game goes along, too.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. The Zerglings are most likely going to die in that engagement. The Spine Cores will not. So, great defense by Snute. He's got defense going forward as well, even more Spine Cores. Of course, if he saw this third base, I don't think he would have gotten a Spine Cores. Has he seen that yet? Okay, he just did see it. Yeah. I guess he's just afraid of... he just wants to not have to build anything but drones. So really cranking out those... And queens, look at this. Look how many queens he's making.
3 queens. Oh, Snute.
Oh, is he going to do the Queen Swarm Host build?
3 evolution chambers.
Triple evolution. I'm having, I'm actually getting, like, really excited about what Snute's doing, because every Zerg player from Ichi can tell you that I've been telling Zergs that queens are their best unit for, like, over a year now, that they should just make nothing but queens. Well, I mean, supplemental tech units like Swarm Hosts and Fasters, Broodlords and whatnot, but... they basically should use heavy queen use, especially against Protoss Air. And now in Heart of the Swarm, Protoss Air is so common that I'm really loving the heavy queen play coming from Snute. His tech's a little bit late, but he's got plenty of stack defense. He's upgrading everything.
1-1-1.
Which is like Brood War style Savior-esque type play we're seeing right here. Very low tech, very heavy upgrades, and he's going to explode with a swarm of units. But the question is can a swarm of units break the defenses that Feast has set up? I mean, he's got that wall in front of his third. He's got more and more Stargates coming up.
Oh.
Are we going to see the feared air toss?
I think we might. I don't even know if we've seen... Okay,
Creator
versus Nesty.
Yep, Creator versus Nesty on
We saw
Whirlwind.
something like this. Maybe Feast saw that and is like, you know what? That looks pretty awesome.
I mean, a lot of, from what I've been talking to people, a lot of top Protosses have been going air toss against Zerg in the ladder, at the very top level in Heart of the Swarm. It's very, very strong now that the Infested Terrans don't get the upgrades. Infestors are a little bit weaker. The Zerg's main anti-Protoss are Vipers and Swarm Hosts, neither of which are that valuable against air units. So air toss is very, very, very scary. Snute, though, he's got so many queens, and he's shown he's not afraid to build Spine Cores. I think if you can add a lot of Spore Cores and then maybe some supplementary forces, he can actually be okay against
Spores, Spines, Vipers, I think would be fantastic.
Yes.
You can suck the air units into your Spores, and of course you can transfuse everything.
You know what? Snute has still, like, not actually revealed his tech choice. He's just droning up like crazy. I mean, he's got a good number of Zerglings out now, but those are just, like, extra, whatever. Yeah, I got some extra larvas or extra money. Let's get some speedies because they're good against everything. He hasn't revealed 4 more queens on the way, 16 more drones.
Jeez.
He's doing
2 Spires.
He's doing the the perfect Zerg, what I call it.
Okay.
You just spend all your money on queens and upgrades and stuff, and then all your larva on drones, and it feeds into this looping cycle. Feast, though, he's getting a lot of Void Rays, which are so much more powerful. And if you work the math, they're like 2.5 times the damage output that they versus armor that they were in Wings of Liberty. So much scarier. Corruptors are not going to cut it. But there's other units Zerg has at your disposal.
Okay, so Yoshi, or excuse me, Snute, his username he's using is so many Yoshis, which is kind of funny. He's coming into this third base, trying to get some damage done. He has seen all of the Void Rays from his opponent. I don't think he cares too much about these things, but obviously you don't want to, just throw them away. Trying to be at least a little bit cost efficient with them.
I mean, it's mostly a combination of scouting, that he's also delaying mining. So it's not, obviously Feast handled that almost perfectly. Like, he lost nothing. I think he lost like 1 probe. But Snute, again, he's the Zergans are kind of throwaway units, right? And now he knows exactly what his opponent's doing, so he can progress up the tech tree. I'm kind of curious to see what he's going to do. He's getting 5 upgrades at once.
He's got lots of infestors.
Air 1, Air 2, Melee 2, Carapace 2,
Missile 2.
Ranged Missile 2. More queens. How many queens is he up to now?
He's up to 11 queens.
Oh, I love it.
8 infestors.
I love it.
93 drones. I've been watching the units tab this whole game because it's fun.
Oh, but you know what? Against that Infestor Queen combination, it's very powerful against Void Rays. It dominates Void Rays, but Feast now, not only does he clean up some more speedings here, but he's adding in Colossi. And Colossi can be extremely effective at pushing those Infestors back.
Well, hold on there, Nick. Look what we got in that production tab. We got a Hive.
Oh, we can add in some Vipers to the combination deck, and they really help a lot against the Colossi. I mean, I don't think... what's awesome? Besides the little Infestor squad he's got, he hasn't really devoted any gas outside of upgrades. So he's got a good amount of gas
bank.
bank.
He's going to cancel these Banelings.
Oh, he is going to have to.
Or is he?
Oh, no, he's just going to send in more Speedlings.
Okay. Speed is not yet done, so I don't see him being aggressive with these. Or is he?
Oh.
He's going to go forward with slow Banelings, but there's some great force fields.
Yeah, you got to be careful with slow Banelings. Luckily, the Infestors mean the Protoss can't just like chase. Oh, if he can keep changing his fungals, those Colossi are doomed.
He's going to try to. The Banelings coming forward. No force fields available out of the sentries, and the Colossi are going to fall to Banelings.
Oh, one more.
Stay alive.
There we go. One more fungal. That Colossi will fall down. And I think Snute's happy with that. He lost some Banelings, but the Zergians he doesn't care about. He didn't lose any Infestors there, I don't think. Taking out 2 Colossi, keeping that count low. And what it does is it forces Feast to not attack right now. And, normally it's like, well, doesn't Protoss want to play defensive turtle up like crazy anyway? Yes, they do. But look at the production tab from Snute.
Gosh, 3-3.
Yeah, it's 3-3-3 Adrenal Glands. He's probably going to start some more air upgrades in a second or a Greater Spire. I'm not sure if he really wants to use Broodlords against, potential Tempests that can easily come out. But
we should see Vipers in production fairly soon, I would imagine.
It's not clear. I could see him going a lot of different ways. I could see him just going Ultralisk, to be honest, from here. I think Ultralisk would actually be great if you could push the ground forces back. The Queens will dominate the Void Rays. A Queen plus, some fungal growths.
That's true.
But you've got to push the ground back first, and Ultralisks are actually very good at doing that.
These Infestors are so bold that they all die. It's not
good at all.
He's
using so many of them. The Void Ray he just lost like 7 of his 9 Infestors.
Well, let's see what he kills here.
He canceled an upgrade on Forge. That's a nice win, but it's not worth that many Infestors.
Yeah,
he might get 1 Void Ray. No, just taking the shields off and hurting. I mean, pretty much minimal damage dealt on there. 5 more Queens though, so he's figuring out that you got to mass Queens. He's also getting another air armor upgrade, Hydra to speed. He might be using Hydras as a remax option. Of course, he doesn't really want to even think about getting Hydras until he finds an answer to his Colossi.
Yeah.
I'd really like to see. I don't know. Maybe what? Queens might be able to deal with Colossi. You just get enough of them, right?
Sure.
That's one theory.
I mean, the Queens can theoretically deal with anything if you get enough of them.
Yeah.
Transfuse each other all day long.
And with the upgrades, they're so heavily upgraded. They have a very fast attack rate. So
Snute has 100 drones, by the way, or he did.
That's a lot of drones.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. More speedings coming down. I love what Snute's doing because he always has a bank, and he has so many options to remax, right? It's still not, like, he could literally go anywhere. He's got 2-2 with air on the way. So, at a moment's notice, he could remax with, like, a bajillion Mutalisks. I mean, right now it only has a gas for 10,
That's really true.
With his gas, he's going to have, because he's already got all the upgrades. So, all his gas will be banked up from here on out, pretty much. which means, yeah, he could literally remax in so many mutants, and the upgrades will be insane for them. Or he could go Broodlords, he could go into Ultras, he could even just do it like Mass Hydra.
Oh, going to try to sneak some links by into the natural expansion, but they're not going to be able to get anywhere and try to take down some Zealots and not die for free. But yeah, I mean, Snute also adding static D around all of his bases, which is awesome. And we should mention the creep spread a little bit. We have no non-purple area on this map except for where Feast's buildings are.
You know, we're talking about everything Snute's doing really well, but looking at Feast, he's maxed out.
Yeah.
With like, if you look at the army value tab, his army value is significantly ahead of Snute's because of Void Rays are so expensive, and he's got so much gas bank. Oh, he's gonna lose a couple here.
There's the Fungals onto the Void Rays. The Queen's coming forward as well. Watch out for those transfuses. Look at how fast the Void Rays are dying to the Queens.
Getting a couple observers there too. Of course, observers do take up Robo.
Looks like Feast is going to try to engage with the Void Rays and the Colossi coming forward, but Snute coming forward with the Zerglings and the Fungals from those Infestors. Queen trying to transfuse everything, but Feast actually getting a decent amount of damage done. There's a Time Warp onto the Infestors as well. Looks like Snute might end up backing away. No, he's going to turn around and try to press the issue, and Feast is going to be the one backing up, not having enough units there. Yeah,
I mean, the Queens tank so well. They're the layer for the Infestors to cast their spells upon, and the awesome thing about this combination is, you know, Snute lost a lot of stuff there, but it was all Zerglings and Queens. Zerglings and Queens have one very important thing in common. They both cost no gas, which means it's very, very easy to reproduce them constantly and save your gas for a hidden text, which in this case is going to be Corruptors. I'm not sure if I agree with that against Void Rays, but we know with enough Queen backing Infestors, I think it could work.
Yeah, 17 Infestors as well. Archon's coming forward into the mix here from Feast, trying to get Snute out of his side of the map, and Snute saying, no way, man, throwing down those infested Terrans, getting a lot of damage done.
Oh, he's got to be careful with Infestors, though. The meat is dying. They've got to back up, wait for some more energy. 16 Hydras in production as well. Snute is just battering Feast down with the fist. Feast has insane economy, but now Snute's taking a base on his side of the map over on the right side there, and Snute's remaxes there so easy because he's using very cheap units.
Yeah. Still has a ridiculous bank, and again, he has not, he's been maxed for a very long time, even though he's losing units. He's just replenishing them so fast, as you said. And now let's look at his unit composition here. We got 27 Overlords. Okay, that's not important. 16 Infestors, 11 Corruptors, 4 Queens. So not really replenishing those Queens, but adding in those Hydras, Corruptors, and Infestors. Again, 16, 11, 16 on those. Really prioritizing the Hydras at this point. Still upgrading the air, though.
I'm a little worried with I mean, the Hydras have nothing to tank for them. Which means that Colossi should just, like, I feel like Snute's going to get just destroyed here because he has nothing to deal with the Colossi. I mean, There's no Queens anymore. He's only like 5 Queens in an army, or
Corruptors
3.
are going to have to...
Yeah, I don't think they
in there and take him out, but there's going to be Storm available. Snute throwing down the Infested Terrans, and Feast is going to go for it, throwing down the Storms onto the Hydras. Infested Terrans getting taken out as well, and look at this concave from Feast. He's got plenty of High Templars, Void Rays, and Colossi, and as you said it, the Hydra's just melting away to that army. Yeah,
and the Arsad army had to back up. The Corruptors would not have lasted long against that Void Ray count with their Prismatic Alignment activated. Now he's making 5 more Queens. It's exactly what he needs. Perhaps even maybe Swarm Host to help deal with the Colossi, something like that. What's really cool here is we're seeing both players get to do their ultimate compositions because, you know, they both have, like, they both macroed up insane early. They both basically got to make whatever they wanted to make. And this is an awesome way to explore Heart of the Swarm, seeing these Doom compositions go head-to-head with each other.
Yeah, you can do it here, or you can do it in like a mass free-for-all, or like a 2v2v2v2, where players will actually turtle up and really try to get those beastly armies on the field. Here we come. Snute on the way here with the Corruptors, trying to track down.
Oh, mass speeding encounter on the cannons. And trading and speedings are so, once you get fully upgraded.
And Adrenal Climax.
Yeah, they're like, cannons are very rarely going to be cost efficient against Adrenal Zerglings. And what's great here is trading minerals for minerals. Snute can replace it a little bit easier. Feast should hold us with the Warpin, but the big story here is on the right side of the map.
Feast advancing up to Snute's 4th base here. Infestors trying to hold strong. Nice Fungals there onto the Archons and Void Rays, but there's a Storm onto those Infestors. The Spores getting taken out. The Static D going to be no match for this Protoss army. And Snute going to try to engage with the Corruptors, but we know how bad they are against those Prismatic Alignment Void Rays. And this base is going to fall. The bottom right base has fallen for Snute as well. And just like that, losing 2 bases, he still has 3K in the bank. 18 Corruptors in production. Is that the right answer here?
I think in this case it will be if he can prevent the army from retreating. The Void Rays are hurt. I don't think there's many, if any, Storms left in the army. But if he lets Feast retreat and regenerate his shields, re-get that energy on a Templar. The Corruptors are not going to cut it against a fully, basically recovered Protoss army. So he's got to catch Feast before Feast retreats. If he sits back on Corruptors, the Corruptors won't get any stronger, but the Protoss army will.
He was making 26 Corruptors there, and he still had over 2K in the bank. That's a pretty big income. That's a pretty big bank that he had stored up. So, you know, Snute trying to rebuild a death army of his own, adding on more and more infestors as well. 8 infestors in production. It still has 2,500 gas. So, you know, Feast is going to have his hands full here, but he has a pretty scary composition of his own, as you said. Got all those Colossi, Voidways, Archons. The High Templar are accumulating the energy.
Snute's looking for the engagement. He's got to do it sooner rather than later. As time goes on, more and more storms will be in play. Of course, he does want to maybe wait for those 10 infestors in production. I didn't see that for a second. 10 infestors are going to help his army out tremendously.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Colossi, though. He's got a few Queens to help tank. That's going to help him out. The big story is the Void Rays with the Prismatic Alignment and the Psy Storms. How big will the Psy Storms be? How big will the Fungal Growth be? Which air army is going to take more damage from the opposing side spellcasters?
Might come down to Micro as well. Feast posturing over toward his fourth base. Does not want to lose that, but here comes Snute throwing down infested Terrans from all of these infestors. Let's see if Feast tries to go for the flank. No, they're going to feedback onto some of those infestors. Infested Terrans starting to take down these cannons, but Feast should be able to deal with that without too much trouble. Another Fungal going down, nailing one Void Ray, but here comes Snute with the Corruptors, melting away that Void Ray in a matter of a second, but the High Templar sneaking their way forward. Watch out for those storms. Snute, he's going to back away for now, trying to find out, all right, what's the best way to engage this?
He's got to be careful. He used a lot of energy on those infested Terrans that are trying to attack that base, but the Colossi are so effective against them, adding more and more infestors. Now he's got a lot of Queens up in front as well. The big question for Snute's going to be is where to pick his engagement. One thing is for sure, he hasn't been super cost efficient so far this game, so he's got to deny Feast from taking that bottom right base. If it goes to a split map for a split map situation, Feast is going to win, but that bottom right's going to be very hard for him to defend.
All right, Feast coming forward. Some Fungal Students going down here from Snute, but there go the feedbacks onto these infestors. Great feedback usage there from Feast. Feast going for it, throwing down the storm onto Snute's arm, but the Corruptors trying to find out a way to come in there, but gosh, so cost efficient is Feast there. And Snute might have to back up and try something else because he just lost so many units there.
He did. He just can't approach that army with so much of his food tied up in Corruptors. If he tries to get closer, so many storms Feast has available. He's trying to picket it with these infestors, but the Colossi are such a fearsome force.
The Void Ray is trying to get in range as well. There go the storms here from Feast underneath those Corruptors. Snute backing up further and further and further, running a little bit out of real estate. 20 Hydras being added on from Snute. Snute trying to figure out what units to make to deal with this composition from his opponent, and he's having trouble coming up with the correct answer.
The Colossi had a big problem. Oh, some nice Fungals there, but the Storms are good as well.
Oh, the Corruptors starting to split up, trying to take down those Colossi, and Feast is going to back up a little bit, and quite a few of the Colossi are actually going to fall. The Voider is turning around, they're trying to engage the Corruptors, but does Snute have too many Corruptors? Look at the feedbacks onto these infestors. All of the infestors essentially dying there, and now the Hydras surging forward to try to clean stuff up after the Colossi go down, and that's going to work. That's going to work.
I mean, he pushes him back, but he lost so much. He lost all his infestors. He lost the vast majority of his Corruptors. What he's got to do now is he's got to
deny that.
You got to deny the bottom right.
Deny that bottom right.
The problem is Feast. Because he was so cost efficient, he had a massive bank saved up. Now it's being used to reproduce. But the key units Feast wants to reproduce into Voiders and Colossi, they build a little bit slow. So Snute has a small opportunity here to maybe try to get something done.
Oh, charge lots here, and again, not much to tank. The Hydra is also a full energy High Templar here as well. Snute, this Hydra army pretty much represents the majority of his ground army. And if he loses it, it's not going to be fun. Trying to get 7 more infestors on the way. There's a great storm there from Feast. Sending some Zealots over to that middle right-hand location. Feast is playing this so well. More storms going down here from Feast. And the Hydra's engaging without the 13 infestors in production. Snute is going to back away. But
the top right taken out by that Zealot squad.
Oh my gosh.
Snute's broke, man. He's at 114 food versus Feast 193. Feast has got his half the map locked down tight. Snute's mining off only a single base on the left side that's very low in minerals, trying to remax on infestors. The one advantage is there's not too many High Templar, maybe chaining enough Fungal Growth to make it work.
There's a blink forward there from Feast. Snute stopping them in their tracks with those Fungal Growths, but now the Colossi are back in on the fun. Colossi very good against the Hydras and Infestors, and Snute forced to throw down the GG and the HF. Feast taking out Snute. What an interesting game there.
It really was. I mean, Snute had like everything. He had every upgrade. He had a ton of money. But the problem is you know, it's that competition. Some people are complaining about right now is the mass Protoss air. The Voiders are really problematic there. In this case, it was Storm and Colossi backed him up. One thing we can say for sure is that Hydralists and Corruptors are not going to be cost efficient against that composition.
Infestors too. I mean, he lost about, I think he lost like 50 Infestors that whole game.
Must have.
Units lost is 53,000 to 28,000 there in favor of Feast. So Snute did everything right. I think in the beginning of that game, he got to 100 drones. He had like 6 bases. He had his opponent's 5th base, but it's just again coming up with that unit composition, maybe mixing in a bit more aggression here or there, like maybe Overlord drops or something to try to get after the economy of your Protoss opponent.
I mean, I think honestly, it's kind of counterintuitive, but I think if you're playing against a Protoss who's investing a significant amount of their army in air, you've got to use a lot of Swarm Hosts. While they don't hit air, the air units on their own, we saw they can be easily taken out by Zerg units if they're support. They need those Colossi, they need the High Templar to support them, and if you have a lot of air, there's not much meat on the ground to protect the Colossi and High Templar, which makes Swarm Hosts, Locust Waves extremely effective in knocking those out. It is tough to decide to devote most of your money into units that don't hit air against the opponent massing air, but you need to find something that's more cost efficient, and Locusts, I think, are the most cost-efficient unit in the game.
Oh, Feast there, great job from him, able to take down Snute in this last chance European bracket. Let's take another look at that. Of course, Titan taking out Socke. Feast taking out Snute, which means we have our final 4 in this last chance qualifier. Grubby, Titan, Mana, and Feast. Lots of PvPs coming your way, guys. Of course, only one can emerge from this bracket and advance to gain a spot at the winter season, at the Winter Championships in Dallas, Texas. So guys, stay tuned. We'll be back with the next match in just a bit.